Enjoy tonight, because as soon as tomorrow we're seeing the return of showers and thunderstorms that could be severe. Good evening, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley in for Chief today. We do have a little bit of active weather north and west of us right now. It's going to stay north and west of us. We're tracking a little bit more of an active morning rather than an active evening tonight. That's the good news, is that we do have plenty of dry time until then. So get your errands done. Get your outside time done. I mean, the sun's going to set here in about 30 minutes, so you don't have a whole lot of that time with the sun being up. But nevertheless, at least we're quiet here in the tri-state. You can see I have the Storm Prediction Center outlook issued and put on your screen right now to give you an idea of where the greatest risk for severe weather tonight is, and it's far north and west of us, in which there are tornado warnings being issued right here live on Fox 19 Now Plus. And this is far northwest of the tri-state, but look at the hook on this thing. Yeah, not what you want to see. There could very well be seeing a tornado outbreak there tonight. There's already many severe thunderstorm warnings up that direction. Here in Cincinnati, we're not seeing anywhere near that severe weather threat, especially for tonight. We do have a threat for severe weather tonight, and it's going to be with what you saw there, but it's going to be popping up starting dark and early tomorrow morning. So I'm not concerned about tonight. I am concerned about tomorrow morning. And that comes on in for your Wednesday afternoon too. That's why tomorrow is a first alert weather day from beginning to end, with strong to severe storms possible from beginning to end. Now with Wednesday's severe threat, I am concerned that they are going to upgrade us from a level 2 to a level 3. And so we go from a slight risk to an enhanced risk. Where I think that might happen is here in Cincinnati and areas south, where we just have a little bit more moisture, a little bit more heat here, and therefore a greater risk for strong to severe wind gusts, which that has been the main concern in this severe weather day, but that's continuing to be our main concern. We do have an expanded hail threat. A tornado threat is also on the table, so I'll unpack that here in a second. Let's talk about the now. Let's talk about tonight. Mostly sunny skies. We've been seeing that today. Some clouds coming back into the tri-state right now. You won't have that Fox 19 Now First Alert weather app downloaded tonight, because these showers and storms, which could be severe, will be arriving before the sun rises tomorrow, which is just before 8 o'clock in the morning now that we have sprung forward. So temperatures tonight, we're seeing temps now in the 70s. They're going to be dropping into the middle 60s, so really not noticing too much of a drop in those temps, but that's because we've got the storms kind of combating that a little bit. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will start not severe, but then they will become a little bit more intense, and they could become severe as well. That'll happen right in the middle of the morning rush, seeing that mainly happen around 6 o'clock tomorrow for those west of Cincinnati. Here in Cincinnati, a little bit closer to 7 or 8 o'clock. And that's why tomorrow's a first alert weather day. We got more potential for strong to severe weather later on in the afternoon and into the evening. And then we start to get a little bit calmer towards the late week, cooler as a result too. Let's unpack the threats a little bit more for that first alert weather day before we start talking about the weekend forecast, because I know a lot of people are focused on this forecast, as you should be. It's our next best chance for severe weather. Again, a slight risk, but I'm seeing a increasing concern for strong to severe wind gusts. That's the very right panel that you see here on your screen, in which 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts are possible. The red that you see there is a 30% chance that within 25 miles of you, you will see one of these storms producing a wind gust like that, in which that's a 30% chance that within 25 miles of you, a severe thunderstorm warning will be issued for you guys. So a 30% chance, that's a good chance of seeing it here in the tri-state, and that includes most of the tri-state. The hail risk, that's the middle panel up to 1 inch in diameter, so that's a quarter size. That looks 5%. That's going to be a lesser concern, but it is still a concern. And then a tornado threat. I know a lot of people are probably concerned about the tornado threat, and there is a chance for tornadoes here in the tri-state, especially east, where you have those dashes there. That means a significant tornado is possible there. Not out of the question. It's not a guarantee, but it is more likely to happen east of Cincinnati rather than us here in downtown. And that's just where we have favorable environment for it to happen. A significant tornado would include EF2 rating or higher, so EF3 and so on and so forth. Most of the tornadoes we see this time of year are not to that strength. We'll let you know if that chance does go up or go down a little bit, but we just want to get you guys ready for that first alert weather day. And again, it's an all-day event. I'm seeing the chance for tornadoes in the morning. I'm seeing it in the afternoon too. We'll get to the timing here in just a second, but tomorrow the main severe weather threat continues to be the risk for strong to severe wind gusts, which if within a thunderstorm they are producing wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour, that's the threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning. Hail, it's 1 inch in diameter. That could issue severe thunderstorm warnings too. And then of course, anytime there's a radar indicated tornado or a confirmed tornado, that's when tornado warnings would be issued here in the tri-state. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we have any questions coming on in. Jeff's tuning on in. There's a lot of questions from Jeff. Tornadoes around 4 in the morning. Not for 4 in the morning. I'm seeing it later, starting around, or the potential for tornadoes. Really want to emphasis on potential. It's never a guarantee. I'm seeing that later in the morning. So not at 4, but a little bit later towards 6 to 7. For Greenfield, Ohio, you think they'll put Greenfield, Ohio into level 3. And one more thing, when will it be in Greenfield? Jeff's really concerned about Greenfield, Ohio. So Greenfield is on the very northeastern side of the tri-state and very northeastern Highland County. And yes, you guys are under a risk for not only tornadoes, but also strong winds. And so you guys are kind of on that cusp in which you could see an enhanced risk being issued for you guys. Again, all of the tri-state, I should say, under a slight risk right now, but I think it's more likely to see that enhanced risk. If it were to be issued, it would be issued for areas south and east of Cincinnati. Okay, no other questions coming on in. Let's keep on going with our forecast because we talk so much about tomorrow. Let's talk about the perhaps better stuff into the late week because, yeah, we do see things calm down and cool down a little bit into Thursday. If you're a fan of the 70-degree temperatures, this is just a small dip back into seasonable cool temperatures in which the morning will be cold in the mid to low 30s. Could be dropping below freezing in some spots for Thursday morning. That's how quick these temperatures are going to fall after the storms Wednesday. And then Thursday, mostly dry, just a few light morning drizzles and then 50 your forecast high. So it's one of the cooler days, and not the coolest day that you'll see here for at least the late week. And then we get into next week, it gets even colder, if you can believe that. But up until when that happens, we just have a little bit more of a drier trend stepping into that weekend forecast, which is going to be a good change of pace. But we do have to get through these showers, these thunderstorms. Let's go ahead and time it out for you guys, hour by hour on your weather timeline. You may see and notice a couple of isolated showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two as soon as tonight. Not out of the question. It's not going to have a heavy impact, mainly because of the timing, but you'll see here the chance for something strong to severe really starts to pull through and approach the tri-state by 5. So we're not concerned about severe weather really up until about 5 to 6 o'clock tomorrow. Notice we do have some isolated thunderstorms here that could be producing hail, strong wind gusts, and heavy downpours. But once we start seeing a little bit more organization to these showers and thunderstorms, that's when we have a greater concern for tornadoes here. And that's going to happen a little bit later than when these storms are going to arrive. Notice the later we get into the morning, the storms don't stop. In fact, the coverage gets a little bit bigger, which means you're more likely to see storms the later into the morning. Perhaps that's good. It could very well be good, because if there's more rain happening, it zaps the energy for these storms to work with. Sure, you'll get the rain, you'll get the lightning, and you'll get some stronger winds, but maybe they won't be severe. So that's kind of a little bit of a silver lining in this forecast. As long as we hold on to the rain, that will limit the potential for something strong, maybe severe, with what we continue to see into the afternoon, which I've brought you into the early afternoon. Some dry time coming into the mix. It's not going to be wall-to-wall showers and storms all across the tri-state all day long, but anytime we do have some dry time, we're able to destabilize the atmosphere a little bit more. It increases our chance for severe weather. So that's the other side to it. As we work into the evening, here's the potential for something strong to severe for those south and east of Cincinnati. Of course, tornado is going to be a concern with what you see right here. Notice that line, southeast of Cincinnati. You don't want to see that. With that, we can see some brief spin-up tornadoes. Usually with a line like this, we do see the brief spin-up, but if we get the line, Sometimes it'll just be straight line winds too. So it's just an indicator that strong winds are still very much in the forecast for tomorrow evening. And as we see that sail east, it pulls with it the drier drier air, the cooler temperatures that we'll see settle on in for Thursday morning. It's a rainmaker too. It's about the potential for strong to severe storms, but this, what you see right here, is the thing that we're most confident in, and that's the heavy amount of rain that we're going to see around the tri-state. Strong winds plus the heavy rain. It's a recipe for perhaps some healthy trees being taken down. Could affect power as well. Power outages not out of the question, but 2 inches of rain not out of the question as we step into your first alert weather day tomorrow. Okay, now before we start talking about the late week, I do want to get to some questions real quick, so let me send us back to our rainfall graphic. Okay, Chelsea's tuning in. Half of Warren County is in the hatched area. Does that include South Lebanon? Yeah, let's zoom on in. Let's talk about the tornado threat one more time. So that's what the hatched risk that Chelsea is mentioning right now in the comments on Facebook. That is the chance of a significant tornado where we have the hatched risk. That's the dashes that you see there. Notice it's a lot. There's a lot of people underneath this hatched risk. They'll probably narrow it down, but notice that does include parts of the tri-state underneath that 5% tornado risk. But the hatched risk means that you could see a significant tornado. So like I mentioned a few minutes ago, that's an EF2 or greater. And South Lebanon, you're like right on the cusp. So there's South Lebanon and there's the dash. So I would treat this as if you were in the hatched area. But again, if you're still under a risk for tornadoes, so still take this very seriously. Have several ways to receive alerts, especially since the threat for tornadoes arrives before the sun even does too. Okay, no other questions coming on in right now. We'll keep checking in on the comments to see if there's any questions throughout the rest of this broadcast, this stream, if you will. Let's talk about some better news, which is the forecast for Thursday. Yes, it's going to be cooler. In fact, it's going to feel more true to winter than it will like we've seen today. But it's at least going to be sunny. It'll be good weather for the FC Cincinnati match. If you have tickets that evening, I'm not concerned about the weather. Just bring a couple of layers with temperatures dropping into the middle 30s overnight into Friday, which opens up the door for a little bit of wet snow Friday morning, but it's primarily going to be rain with temperatures back into the low 60s by the afternoon. Very low impact with any rain that we see on Friday. If you do see it, it will be very light. Then we step into a mostly dry weekend. I've brought you to Sunday afternoon. So mostly dry weekend up until about 5 to 6 o'clock Sunday evening, in which we're watching for a line of showers and storms pulling on through the tri-state late Sunday evening. And that is going to be the cold front, the storm system that pulls in the winter cold and the chance for some flurries, stepping in to St. Patrick's Day, which is 1 week from today. Here's your first alert extended forecast. We do have a little bit of everything. Today we reached a high of 74 degrees. Tomorrow we'll get to about 70. We're not going to get much colder overnight, and that's because we've got the clouds thickening, and eventually the storms will start too. That keeps temperatures pretty steady. As we see clouds clear, temperatures will cool. We're going to wake up Thursday morning in the middle 30s, and then we warm up to near 50 ahead of the FC Cincinnati match, which is looking good. Friday, a slim chance of some wet snow to rain in the morning. That's it. Most of the day does look dry, and temperatures are going to start their warm up a bit, low 60s for Friday afternoon. With a weak cold front associated with the rain that you see on Friday, Saturday is looking a little cooler, still quite mild for this time of year, high 57, and dry for the Cincinnati St. Patrick's Day parade. And Sunday, mostly dry day. The evening, showers and storms look like they're going to be barreling on through the tri-state. We'll let you know if there's a severe potential with this. Because it's springtime, I would just automatically assume that there's a not zero chance of severe weather. We'll let you know if that chance goes up or goes down. And then look, we go from 72 Sunday afternoon to a high of 37 degrees on Monday. We see temperatures falling from Monday morning into Monday afternoon. A few morning flakes there on Monday, a few flurries on Tuesday. Neither day looks like it's going to have a heavy impact because of the snow, but it is likely going to bring some flurries to the tri-state. It's not going to accumulate to anything really. And then temperatures do start their warm up back into the first day of spring, which is finally on the 10 day, if you can believe that. Okay, let's see if we have any questions coming on in. We do. We have a lot of questions. That's good. I'm glad to hear. Sam's tuning in. Hi, Erin. Hope you're having a great day and a great week. Thank you for tuning in, Sam. I am. Hope you have a great week as well. Jeff's saying he asked a lot about tornadoes. We were at a tornado a few years ago, and you don't want any more. Absolutely. You always want to stay weather aware, and I'm happy to provide that information and answer any questions that you have. Chelsea, thank you so much for tuning in and asking your questions. You're very welcome. Emily's tuning on in. They're asking about how severe it's going to be for Middletown for the Wednesday commute. So let's talk about the severe potential one more time. Everyone's got a chance to see severe weather tomorrow. Middletown in particular, you are kind of on the cusp of seeing strong storms in the morning and in the afternoon. Same with us here in Cincinnati. Right here in the middle of the tri-state, if you were to split it in half, we have a chance of seeing severe weather all day long. If you're west of Cincinnati, you're more likely to see it in the morning. If you're east of Cincinnati, you're more likely to see it in the evening. But everyone has a chance to see it all day long. It's just we're seeing the data kind of lining up with that. How severe is it going to be? Depends on the storms, right? But it looks like it's going to be, there's a good chance of seeing the strong storms, but will the storms reach severe levels? It's mainly going to be a concern for winds, for Middletown and for anyone around the tri-state, but tornadoes not out of the question either. Melvin's tuning in. Hi, Erin. Is it going to be raining all day long tomorrow? There's going to be rain all around the tri-state tomorrow at some point. There is also going to be some dry time. It's just a matter of where you're going to be in the tri-state. If you're going to be traveling, just have that Fox 19 Now First Alert weather app at the ready. It will track your location and let you know if there are any weather alerts issued for your exact location. It's a great tool to have. And then Jeff's tuning in still. If they come in around 7 in the morning, I at least will be up and not sleeping. Yeah, that's the good news, is that the severe storm potential for the morning in particular, it looks like it's going to be right around 6 to about 7, 8 o'clock. So not 4 in the morning. It's possible, but it's just more likely to happen a little bit later. Okay, no other questions coming on in, which means hopefully people are starting to feel a little bit more ready about tomorrow's First Alert weather day. We'll have the latest information for you guys about that severe weather threat coming up right here on Fox 19 Now Plus at 9 o'clock. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Enjoy tonight. It's beautiful weather outside. Get a walk in before tomorrow's active weather. I'll see you guys in about an hour and a half.